Everybody, Megalore 31 back here for FSI DFS. TK Nation is away, so I'll be doing this solo. Maybe I'll be able to get him back for the NASCAR one, but as promised, you guys gave us enough likes. So on the screen are our projections. It is to get vaccinated 200 from New Hampshire, and hopefully the weather holds up for this one. It's a little bit dicey. I just did the baseball show, and the Mid-Atlantic until 2 a.m. on Sunday is under a flash flood advisory. So there's a lot of rain in the area, but hopefully it stays away from New England. It stays closer to like the New York, PA area, and we get some nice racing in here. Interesting race. I believe there's a competition caution lap 20. The stages are 45 laps, and the fuel window is anywhere around 90 laps. So it is conceivable that once they stop for the competition caution and get a splash of fuel, they might be able to make it through two stages without having to do a pit stop. So pit strategy might come in interesting here. And let's just start breaking down the drivers here. So Judd Burton did great last week. I think he's starting a little bit too high here. I think he'll still be popular, but he'd be a GPP play for me. Justin Haley, I think could get out and lead early. This is a track where it's a short, flat track. The passing is a little bit difficult. I just remember probably 20 years ago now when Adam Petty died, I believe, at this racetrack. And then they put the restrictor plates on the cars because they thought they were going too fast. And I think Jeff Burton led this race from like flag to flag, and it was like the most boring race ever. It was like a parade. So I don't think that this is a track where passing is easy. So that's where pit strategy might come into play. So one of these two guys could get out early and lead a bunch of laps and really not relinquish it if they have a really good pit stop there and have fresher tires and get up. If people do choose to stay out for track position, and regain the lead, it could be I don't think it's going to be a single dominator race. I think you're going to see about two or three guys out there, but we'll see. Grayson's another one to talk about in here. He's a GPP because he's always aggressive and volatile and makes mistakes. So can never play him in cash, but I always usually put him at first in my GPP. Austin Cindric is a little polarizing because I have people that say like he's really great here and other people say it's not really good here. If you look at the data, you really don't have too many races. Like they didn't race here last year. They haven't raced here since 2019. A lot of these guys, some of these guys weren't even in the series end, so it was hard to pull that number to use it. But the comparable tracks are Phoenix, Nashville, and Martinsville. And Phoenix, he had a 2.1 average running position. So I think he's going to be very chalky. I think he's very, very high owned. And I'm okay with that, but I don't know if he's going to be in my cash build, but my primary one, but I think I will have a secondary one using him. Allgaier, I think, is going to be very popular too. He's been really good here. He's always good on flat tracks, and I think he's one to definitely consider here. Allmendinger, he is good at road courses, so a short flat track, sometimes braking comes into consideration. He was good at Phoenix, Martinsville. I don't know why he doesn't have any national data. He did run there, so I don't know that must be a mistake that's not coming up. But anyways, struggled a little bit in Martinsville. So I think he's playable. I think you can play him in cash. I like the discount on some of the other guys, but I really think that he's better probably for a GPP, a cash build if you can fit him in. If you're going like if you're building your base of like place position and like value plays and then rotating dominators, definitely keep him in your pool. Moffitt, he's interesting here. He's just starting way too high up, so I don't think many people will play him at all. So I think he's just going to go backwards. I have him finishing 15th, so not too interested there, but possible GPP play. Jeremy Clements, the same thing. Like, can he finish where he starts? It just seems like he's starting too high up here, so I think he'll have low ownership and be a GPP almost fade for me. Sam Mayer has been really good on short flat tracks in his like limited time. So the style is good for him. I don't think he's going to get up and lead and contend. I think he still has a lot of learning to do. He's not Ty Gibbs by any means, even though he's probably eventually going to be in the same conversation with him later on. I just think he's got a little bit more learning to do. So he's GPP for me, way too expensive there to take a chance. Harrison Burton, I think a lot of people are going to play. He was in the top 10 and 19 running, and then he had a car issue. He's been really decent on these tracks too, an average running position of 7th overall among these tracks. Was good in Nashville, was good and decent in Martinsville, okay in Phoenix. So 96, I think he's another one you can put a dominator with a little place differential there. But I don't know what's going on here because I love the Gibbs cars, and the Gibbs cars are good, but I think he'd be my least favorite Gibbs car here. And where's his focus, though? Because he just got named to take over from Matt Benedetto in the Cup Series. So, is he trying to push to win this, get into the playoffs and do well and get to win this Xfinity title here? Because it might be his last year in Xfinity, or what's going to happen? Or is he just kind of going to mail it in, just finish out the season and look towards next year? Don't know, but we'll see. Again, you can play in cash. I think he's going to be popular, but he's not one that I'm putting in my primary build. Ryan Sieg starting a little too high here. He possibly, with his weird pit strategies, could finish around where he starts, but I think that's going to make him a little bit popular, but I'm not interested there. Riley Herbst, he's one that, again, I think he might just be focused on Cup. I don't think I'm super interested in him. I can see playing him as GPP play. He's got a good car, but just I look at his numbers here. He looks like he's could grab a couple place differential points. So not super interested. Daniel Hemrick, I am another Joe Gibbs car here. I think he could be a dark horse to maybe get his first win here, but I think he can definitely get up, contend, and maybe actually lead some laps here. I think he's going to get some place differential, finish in the top 5, and maybe even lead some laps. Christopher DeBell is my absolute favorite play on the slate. And actually, I broke down and did my Cup research before I even did this, and Christopher Bell was one of my favorite Cup plays. So then to see if he's in the Xfinity race, lock him in to one of my prime plays, one of my top 3 favorite plays on the slate. I love him here. I think he's going to do really well. And even though my sheet has him finishing 3rd, I think he's going to actually get up there and be able to probably win this race and get some dominator points and just have a really, really solid day. And I think he's going to do really well in the Cup. I love all these Gibbs cars here at this track. Alex Lab starting way too high, fade him. Myatt Snyder, no, he's okay, and maybe he could get like a top 15, but I don't believe he's ever raced here before, or an 8.2 is really too high to pay for him, even though he's in a decent car and has been a decent driver at times. Tommy Joe Martin, I think he's starting way too high here. I know he's a fan favorite of the show, but we like Tommy Joe Martin when he's starting down in the 20s and hoping he can get up into the top 20. I think he's starting too high here, and I've got him finishing like 21st. Jay Buford, same thing. I know a lot of people like playing him, but we like him playing when he's down in the 20s, too far up. Ryan Vargas is the cheapest guy on the slate. I understand if you want to throw a punt here at him, but starting 19th, he's very dangerous and could end up in the negative if something goes wrong and he breaks down, or if he ends up look at his average running position at these tracks. Nashville 28, Martinsville 35th, Phoenix 34. I have him finishing 36 here. I think he's way too dangerous for a punt. You can pay a couple $100 more and get a better guy in a better situation that's not as valuable as him. Josh Williams, the poor guy that TK and I ruined his career every time we started touting him. Then he just kept on wrecking. But actually, recently, he hasn't been that bad. He's had a couple. It was back in May when he really started to have that streak, but then he has been consistently around the top 20 besides Pocono, where he had one wreck and I don't even think that was his fault. So I'm okay putting him off the fade lift back in the GPP and maybe even considering him at this price point. But I think, if you throw out Phoenix, he's about 23 average running position here. I think if you land on him around the 6,000 range and you have enough, that I think he's fine to play. Next two guys are my other two prime plays, Josh Berry. And I feel bad because last time TK and I were ranting, saying like, why does Josh Berry have to go in the Jordan Anderson car? Why couldn't they figure something else out? Just kick out Michael Annett. We were just kind of joking. And then Michael Annett goes and gets injured. Now, Michael Annett, I think he has a hairline fracture in his leg or something, but he should be back. He did have surgery on it. He will be back after the NASCAR break, so he should be ready for Watkins Glen. So it's not a long-term thing, but the thing is that Barry is back in a Junior Motorsports car. He gets number 1, not the number 8, but still, I think this really suits him well. I think that he did really well. Look at his numbers. Like if you take out Phoenix when it was really early on in the season, Nashville and Martinsville, he did very, very well on this style of track. So I think he's going to be very popular today. And I think he's definitely going to be one that we need to consider him. And the track is right up his wheelhouse. So Brandon Brown, I think, is going to be chalk also. He's been a very, very consistent driver. He is very good on flat tracks, not elite, but he's decent enough to get some place differential here, and the price is outstanding. So I think he's going to be very chalky, and he's another one of my very favorite plays on the slate. Brandon Jones is another one that he's in a Gibbs car, 10K. I think there's place differential here. I think he's going to be very popular. He, again, has been like up and down. Like he had like a streak where he was just like horrible. And then he had a streak of like 7 top 10s. But then recently, like I think he was the first car out last week. So he's like Noah Grayson. Like Brandon Jones and Noah Grayson are the first two guys in every single GPP lineup because they have the potential. They have the cars. But are they going to be able to make it through the race? I'm not going to put all my cash money on them, but I'm okay always playing them in a GPP because if they finally put it together and those two hit, I know it's going to be a very good day. Patrick Emmerling is, I believe, a local guy. He's got a lot of RC racing experience on this track. So I'm okay playing him a cash at 67. I think he can at least get a top 25 finish, if not more, because he knows the track. So, and he's in a decent car. So I think that's reliable. Colby Howard, I think he's starting a little bit higher than I'd like, but he's got solid equipment. He could finish inside the top 20. Jeffrey Earnhardt, he's just struggled. Just look his numbers, 28th, 23rd. 62, just not interested. I'd rather play Colby Howard for save the $400. Matt Mills and Jesse Little are horrible plays. They could end up negative points where they're starting here. They're probably going to start in the low or end up in the low 30s. I don't usually play them unless they start in the 30s. So even at those prices, I'm a fade. Mason Massey, I'm okay. I'd rather take him than Ryan Vargas because Mason Massey starting 29th. I figured it out. He just needs to finish 36th if you do the DK math. Or 35th. If he finishes 35th, he gets a 0. He doesn't lose you any points. But if he opens up a bunch of salary to get you the guys you want, then he's a good play here because he'd lose 1 point for every single position that he dropped back. But if you figure in his finishing position points, 35th is where he needs to go to not have any lose any points there. Let's see here. Joe Graff, he's okay also, but I'd rather play Massey. Landon Castle has been decent. We like him starting in the 30s. This is the situation that we liked for like the Tommy Joe Martin, the Mills, the Little. He's a much better driver and much better car. So definitely a little bit pricey, but I can see him in cash there. Brandon Godovic, the same thing. Probably a top 25 driver, a little bit more expensive. Jordan Anderson, he's had a fast car, but it has broken down. He has been erratic as a driver. Last time out here, he only had like a 35th average running position. So I think this is a very risky GPP play, but it could pay off with place differential. He's not going to get up there in the top 10 lead. I think his ceiling would be top 20 to 15th at most, but I'm not really going to touch it, but I think some people might speculate on it. Kyle Weatherman has been okay this season. His car has had some issues. but he does have some speed and he is a decent driver. And if his car finishes the race, so does he. So I think he can gain a couple points. I'm okay with him at 5-3. Dawson Crane comes from the Truck Series. I think he might be highly owned at this. I actually really like him here. Just looking at how he has done in the Truck Series, I know the cars and trucks drive a little bit differently, but I think he's got a chance to get up into the top 20. So he's one of my favorite value plays down here at 5-5. JJ Ellie, I think, is going to be very popular just with the season he's had. He's in a very solid car. He's an experienced driver, has run at this track before, probably a top 20, actually 18.8 average running position, which is great place differential. I have him finishing about 17th. But 8-4, the price is a little bit high. But if he does get up there and get like 40 DK points, then he's going to be over 4x, maybe even 5x. So I can see playing him in cash. It's just going to be hard to fit him in your lineup with some of the other guys we've been talking about. Dexter Bean has a very good car, and he's a decent driver. So I think he can get up into above 30 into like the low 20s. So there's place differential there. Decent price at 5-4. So I really like that price there. Star and McLaughlin, I like Star a little bit better. McLaughlin looked a little bit slow the last couple of races. I don't know if it's he or the equipment. He's in the Hattori car, which is decent. But I'd rather pay for some of these 5K guys. I'd rather take Bean and I'd rather take Spencer Boyd. He's GPP, but borderline cash, because I could definitely see he loses no points, so he has nothing but upside. So, and I can see him getting up to 30th and getting 10 to place differential points there. So kind of wraps things up. Again, Joe Gibbs cars I like. Brandon Brown is a great value, and also Dawson Crane, I think, are ones to look at. So should be hopefully an exciting race. Hopefully the weather holds out, and look forward to hopefully some green screens. So thank you for watching. Leave some comments below if you have any questions. Reach out to me on Twitter at Megler31, or look up TK Nation. He's also should be around to help today too. And then hopefully I'll have him back for the NASCAR Cup Series preview also. So if you only watch Xfinity and you only watch these Xfinity videos, just remember it's going to be a 2-week break until they hit Watkins Glen, because NBC has Olympic coverage that they have to cover, so they don't have time to cover NASCAR. And hopefully that will be a road race, and hopefully we'll maybe have some more news about the season and a clear picture of where drivers are going to be next year and how they're performing in lieu of the news. So thanks for watching, and give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and good luck.